sexting. And for us Christians, because I'm bringing it to us Christians. I mean, if I'm talking to the kids that are not Christian, I would be saying something different. But for us, sexual sin in all types presents real dangers to individuals, marriages, families, as well as churches, schools, and even businesses. Not only are you doing harm to yourself, you're doing harm to your family, you're doing harm to the church, because, you know, people are not going to look at the church, you know, people as they would. Sexual temptation, unwelcome sexual solicitations, sexual temptation available to us through modern technology and viewing internet pornography. That is harmful to you guys. You're 14, you're 13, you're 12, you're 16, and you're on the internet. And that happens a lot. You're on the internet, you're on your phone, you send, or somebody sends you a request, right? And all of a sudden, there's stuff going on. Yes, ma'am. You got a question? Which one? Oh, the teens? Limited plans, yeah. Right. I'm going to get to that. Let me just finish that one just because, so that you guys see that one. Teens with unlimited, this is another, when I was studying, it says that, and I saw it, I'm like, wow, parents, we want to give you guys what we didn't have. I didn't have a cell phone until I was a nurse, me. Actually, when I got married, Mike and I got married, I didn't have a phone in my house. Did we, Mike? Mike had a phone, but I didn't have a phone. So I didn't get a phone until I was out of college, and I was like 2 years into my nursing career. I didn't have a phone. But we want to give our kids what we didn't have. A lot of stuff that we didn't have. We don't want our kids to go without, because we don't want you guys to feel, that you don't have. Because people talk to you crazy, right? But the teens with unlimited sexting plans are more likely to receive sex. How many of you have an unlimited plan that you know of? Metro. If you have Metro, you got to raise your hand, because that's unlimited what? Text, everything, right? Unlimited. Now, 75% of cell-owning teens have those unlimited plans. So, nosotros que le estamos pagando los planes del teléfono, we're giving them unlimited plans, because if we don't, we get charged a lot of money, because that's all they do. They send texts. Because I remember I received a bill one day that I almost had a heart attack. Because I didn't have unlimited. It wasn't Ingrid, she says. Okay, Ingrid did one, Michael did one, Stephen did one. So those were almost 3 heart attacks right there. $500, 500 one time, 600 another time. No, non-limited, So they were charging me for every text I had to pay. Yo le hice un cuento, ¿ves? A ellos. Entonces me bajaron el rate y me dieron unas cositas ahí. So you just got to know how to talk to folks. Because I'm like, well, then I'm just going to have to cut off the phone. There's no way. 18% report receiving sex compared to 8 unlimited plans. So it doubles. If you have unlimited plans, it doubles. 58% of 12-year-olds own a cell phone. 83% of teens aged 17 and older own a cell phone. And today, 43, this is today, because these are, I did them, I finished this morning. I had finished, but I wanted to get updated. Today, 43% of 13 to 15-year-olds will text instead of calling. 16% will text instead of calling. 48% of 18-year-olds. 48 and 18-year-olds will text 54% of the time. Sometimes I can't get my children, my kids, I can't get them on the phone. But I text them and they respond. No lo puedo, ellos no cogen el teléfono. Pero si yo le mando un text, ellos me responden. Y así estamos hasta los adultos. You know why? It's easier to send a text than to speak to somebody on the phone. Because on the phone, what you say can take a tone. And that tone can either go right or wrong, whichever way, you know. So it's easier. Let me just send the text. And it's cutting down on communication. Communication with parents, communication with, you know, your spouses, everybody. But those statistics are today. We will text instead of picking up the phone. Okay, so we're going back to the harms. Because I really want to. Can you run that? Harms, the one after harms. Did I do that one? Go back then, go back. I thought I started that one. That one. Okay. Engaging in cyber sex. Listening to racy music. These are some of the things that make using technology harmful. Listening to racy music. How you guys have iPods. A lot of you have iPods. And the music, I don't know if the parents are checking out the music, but there's a lot of music out there that does not edify the soul at all. De droga. Yep. That's the new thing. And we have those in school too. Now, this is one of the reasons that in school they're not supposed to have electronics. Because they're in class and they're not even listening to you. They got the little thing in there, not in my class, but in other people's classes. They have the little thing in there. And they're not even paying attention, and that's what they're doing. Watching sexually explicit videos or TV. I'm not even going to ask if you've done it, because that's none of my business at this point. But if you are, that is harmful to your brain, to your soul. Your soul is what connected to God. And if you mess with that little connection, that interruption, it's really not that great. Tuning into pornographic satellite radio stations. And those satellite stations, there's a lot out there. I got in my friend's car and then she had one. And I'm like, oh, wow. And I thought, maybe I should get one of those. Then I said, nah. I'll just stick with 89.1, which gives me music that I can, you know, connect myself to God. And then if it's not Spanish, I'll go to 88.3. Which then will, you know, give me some more music that just gives me connection with God. And last but not least, you harm your spiritual life. And this is why we're doing this. Because we don't want your life, your physical life, we don't want it to be hurt. But your spiritual life, we want it to get hurt less than even your body. Because that one is the one that holds that connection with God. It holds. You know, si Cristo viene ahora mismo, God comes right now, the soul is what's going to go up. You know, you going up there, we're going to be transformed. And I don't know, I'm not talking about you guys, but I want to be transformed. And I want to go to heaven. And I don't want to take the sexting and technology and take it out of proportion where it's going to break that connection that I have with God, right? The next one. Okay, let's talk a little bit about legal aspects, because this is why I called my friend, which is a lawyer. And maybe you guys don't know this. But while sexting might seem like innocent flirtation, nude pictures, explicit messages you send could become grounds for a criminal record and prison time. How many of you guys knew that? If you knew that, you're ahead of the game, okay? But a lot of people do not know that. That you can go to jail. They can go ahead and put criminal charges on your record, and you can be considered a sex offender for the rest of your life. Just playing around with your phone. For teens, the consequences of sexting are the same as for adults in most states. But you could also prevent students from receiving college scholarships, those of you that are going to college. Job offers, because once you have your record that says sexual offender, they're going to look at that. Every time you go to a job, they're going to look at that. And they're going to say, well, and they're not going to ask you, what did you do? Because they're not. Because if they do and you tell them, nah, I was just sexting. Maybe they'll just, but they're not going to do that. Once they see that on your record, you're done. They're going to put your application to the side. Now it's getting to the point that even to get your light bill on, even to get your water bill on, they're checking your credit. They're checking your background. So, I want you guys to be focused on how this can mess you up for the rest of your life. Is it fun at the beginning? Maybe. Is it going to harm you? Absolutely. Okay? In addition to the embarrassment of having your nude photographs floating around on the internet, I don't know about you guys, but having your nude body, tons of people looking at it just because you weren't smart enough and you put it out there. I don't know. For me, that's harsh, I would say. That you can be charged with disorderly conduct. Those are the legal issues. Illegal use of a minor in nudity-oriented material. So even though Hansel, you're not doing this, but Hansel sends a picture, sexual explicit, to somebody else, and that person is 13 years old, they're going to consider you as using a minor for nudity-oriented material. So that is something to think about. Felony, you can get felony, sexual abuse of children, criminal use of communication facility or open lewdness, which is, you use communications. I'm not sure if you know this. Anything that's on the web, it's governed by federal government. ¿Qué usa eso? Yeah. You're going to have to do internet schooling where you're by yourself at your house. But yes, one of the things that you can get, at least in Osceola County, you get suspended automatic for 10 days, and then you get put up for expulsion. So, and it's a whole legal thing. In Florida, sexting can result in charges of crimes against a minor. Defendants charged most automatically register in the Florida Sexual Offender Registry. If the defendant is a minor, sex offender registry is required if charged as an adult. Okay, so if you're charged with an adult, and if you're 17 years of age,